So Luther Campbell recently tweeted what he thought was a gotcha moment directed at ADOS reparations advocates, mocking the idea that Donald Trump would ever support reparations. But this tweet completely misses the mark. The reality is that Black Trump supporters aren't backing him because they think he'll lead the reparations charge. Their support stems from his economic policies. That's lower Black unemployment, stronger wages, and opportunities for growth.
I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent something that nobody else will be able to do. I will prevent World War III, and you are very close to World War III. Biden and Kamala got us into this war in Ukraine, and now they can't get us out. They can't get us out. I watched him. We will. He's been saying that for 3 years. Every time Zelensky comes to the United States, he walks away with $100 billion. I think he's the greatest salesman on earth. But we're stuck in that war unless I'm president. I'll get it done. I'll get it negotiated. I'll get out. We got to get out.
Add to that a period of no new wars and a firm stance on border control. And these are issues that have real impacts on Black communities.
What specific actions do you plan to take to administer reparations for this unpaid labor?
Right. So I'm actually supporting a bill. There's a congresswoman by the name of Sheila Jackson Lee that has written this bill out of the House, which I am supporting, to study exactly what should be the response to your question. But to your point, and to just support your point, look, we had centuries of slavery in this country. We had decades of Jim Crow. We had legalized discrimination and segregation. And then we had de facto discrimination and segregation. And to believe or suggest that those years of treatment and abuse and violence and crimes did not have an impact is to overlook the facts of history. And for that reason, I support the legislation and what we need to do to think about specifically what it means in terms of the next steps. But I thank you for that question.
Senator, yes or no, do you support financial reparations?
I support that we study that. We should study it and see.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will. So let's get right. So in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Any day of the week. Including for...
But what's most surprising is that Campbell, a Caribbean American, using the sensitive issue of reparations to score political points for Kamala Harris, a politician who has consistently dodged the topic. Harris, who herself has no direct ties to the ADOS experience, has never committed to supporting reparations for American descendants of slavery. And yet she's portrayed as the better option. Strange to say the least. Reparations advocates are fighting for justice long overdue, focused on redressing the harms inflicted on ADOS communities for centuries. It's about more than political games. It's about accountability and economic justice.
Tonight is the final night of California's legislative session. State lawmakers have until midnight tonight to pass proposed laws for the year. Ahead of the deadline, advocates for reparations for Black Californians have been protesting all day as lawmakers plan to block two key bills for that effort. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala is live at the state capitol right now with what's happening. Ashley?
That's right, Orko. This has been the big story mainly all day here. California's Legislative Black Caucus, which represents the black members of the state legislature, confirmed that lawmakers will not move forward with those two key proposals. The first, SB 1403, which would establish a state agency to oversee the state's reparations efforts. The other, SB 1331, that would establish a state fund for reparations. So the blocking of these bills has angered protesters who've been in the Capitol Rotunda all day, yelling at lawmakers in the Assembly to bring the bills up for a vote. State Senator Stephen Bradford said Governor Newsom's office asked him to make changes to the bill that would establish the state agency and to instead turn it into a study of reparations recommendations by the University of California. Bradford would not accept the changes, and he says the Legislative Black Caucus is afraid of the veto. But the leader of the Legislative Black Caucus, Assemblymember Lori Wilson, denied this. Bradford told us, though, the bills have the votes.
We're at the finish line. And I think we as a Black Caucus owe it to the descendants of chattel slavery. We owe it to Black Californians and Black Americans to move this legislation forward and get it to the governor's desk.
Now, nothing is final until the gavel drops here at midnight, but it's unlikely that these bills will come up.
Mocking the fight for reparations only reveals a shallow understanding of the struggle ADOS face. And this issue transcends any one politician or political party.
Policies of President Donald J. Trump and knows full well that life was better 4 years ago under his administration. No amount of media deception or liberal race baiting will sway the minds of black voters who will cast their ballots this November for safer streets, a better financial well-being, a secure border, and a complete rejection of Joe Biden's disastrous tenure. So you all were all there. A quick show of hands. Do you believe his comments were in any way racist? Nobody. Okay. Abdul, what were your thoughts that night when you heard these comments during the event?
It's about time that somebody started telling the truth. I mean, he's only speaking to what some black folks have experienced for a very long time, which is a disastrous justice systems in many cases. And ultimately, we can all see this playing out right in front of our very eyes. I wasn't offended or didn't feel like anything he said was racist in any way.
Former President Trump also made a statement about his mugshot taken as part of his Georgia case. Let's take a listen to that.
And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece.
Black Trump supporters are driven by more than just reparations. They're focused on issues that impact their communities today: economic stability, safety, and border control.
For Trump, I like those signs. Blacks for Trump, you watch. You watch. Those signs are great, thank you.
A few days ago, President Trump said he didn't know Vice President Harris was a black woman. I'm trying to figure out what all the outrage is about because she's only black when it's time to get elected. Did I lie? The same black people who are mad at Trump for being confused about her race, ethnicity, nationality, whatever, are seemingly forgetting that while you're touting her as a savior for black people, she identifies as an Asian woman. She chose her side and it wasn't ours.
At the end of the day, ADOS support for Trump isn't about reparations. It's about economics, stability, and security. The sooner we recognize that, the sooner we can have real conversations about reparations without the divisive rhetoric.